The Wasteland. The girl stumbled through the wasteland. The wasteland was the new world. Metal skeletons of old buildings, jagged beams that once held giants up to the skies, swayed. Broken glass and torn newspapers and even bits of red grass littered the ground. Her feet were bleeding, and while she sometimes felt the pavement below the new world, it was a rare respite. She never complained about it, though. Her mouth never opened and her voice was lost to time. Time itself had been lost beneath its own weight, its own suffocating star waves and eternity. Her voice had joined the stars in death. Voices still whispered in her ear, cold and feminine. They sounded like her friends. Her friends. The smile on her face stretched a little wider and her heart burned. The voices were kind and they tried to cheer her up. Every word dripped with that plastic cheerfulness her friends had worn in front of her. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. Let's see them again. Let's see them again. Every step. She closed her eyes, taking them all in, listening to the song of everything and losing herself in the lies. Her heart lit up. The glass and the metal bones and the twisted, crumbling cars faded away and melted and were washed under the voices. She was home. Home. The girl laughed. Chapter 3. The Thing in the Dark. It wheezed, and the girl paused, her hand still on the doorknob. She stared at the thing in the middle of the darkness. A scream could have escaped. It almost did, and would have echoed throughout the house. Somebody could have known. Somebody could have helped her with what would come next. She would have had split guilt, but the others weren't around. Not then. They were talking about it, the thing, the corpse. The girl swallowed her vomit and took a step into the room. Floorboards creaked under her feet as she approached the bloated, twitching body of her friend. It raised its head to stare at her, and the light from the open doorway illuminated its face. She sobbed when she saw its eyes. Dark. Completely black. The same could have been said about its skin. She could smell the blood. It took a deep breath, and the holes in its arms and chest and stomach all widened. Squelching flesh peeled away, revealing the holes in her bones. She watched as the red light flickered within. The thing wheezed. It opened its mouth and a stream of black poured out, accompanied by a final word. Out. The girl eyed the pair of scissors that were laying next to the thing's arm. They shimmered, tears reflected back. She couldn't. She just couldn't. She finally decided to run out of the room by the time Manny had approached the doorway. Chapter 4. The Screaming Fog. The girl stopped laughing as soon as it screamed. The wailing echoed from somewhere in the fog, in the unknown that loomed before her, loud like thunder, a high screeching. Something struck wood, hard enough for a thick chunk to echo. She couldn't see anything. She wanted to see something. Her eyes darted left. There wasn't much for her to see, just a board of wood lying on the ground. She didn't care. Her grip tightened and her wand acted accordingly. A burst of green light shattered the unknown. Her eyes were pulled across the street towards the bookstore. The store groaned as it clamped down onto the source of the wailing. Framework rotten and almost entirely entangled with black weeds. Its odor was boarded up. Its sign was barely hanging on by a small nail. The building was close to death. Not nearly as close as the white cats in its jaws, but still quite close. The girl froze. The broken storefront window closed and the cat flailed. It swiped the jagged glass, an attempt at shattering the sharp teeth digging into its body. It hissed and screeched and tried to catch them. It was fighting. But the girl knew that it was hopeless. It was obvious from the torn flesh and the gurgling that the store had struck first. Cut it down when it wasn't looking. It had already wounded it, and the cat was slowing down, weakening. One last chomp and its head exploded. She flinched. Blood sprayed the pavement. Mushed eyeballs and brain matter splattered against the world's new skin. She didn't realize that she was lowering her wand until the store stopped chewing. It groaned again. The splintered piece of wood lifted off the ground and flickered in the air, smelling. She finally noticed the wood wasn't wood. The girl turned away from its store and tongue and ran. Chapter 5. The Audio Transcript. Initiating video failed. Initiate audio 1201228-83409. Male, later identified as Deputy Jacob Hopkins.
What was the call about?
Female, later identified as Officer Rodriguez.
A possible 10103 on 6th and Main. Someone's screaming. Screaming? Yeah, a little girl. Like domestic disturbance? Has anyone went to check to see what's going on? No, nobody has, and it isn't coming from an apartment. Station said that it's coming from the subway tunnels on one of the corners. Wait, we're heading towards... Yep. So loud that they can hear it from Williams. Painful, too. God, I hate this place. Place has always been deadly. But now it's even worse with those psychos prowling around at night. And the church isn't here. What if it is? It could be the reason behind the screams. Maybe it's crossed the bridge from Brooklyn and kidnaps another girl and we're about to... No, it can't be. Why the hell not? Because they wouldn't have allowed it. They would have stopped it. The roses. Yeah. Look, Eli... Did you hear that? Christ, they weren't lying. We have to help her. Hold on. What the hell? The engine died. It doesn't matter. Come on. Okay. It's open. We have to go down there. It's so dark in here. Can't see anything. Your flashlight then. God, it's even louder. Fresh? It smells. Rotten flesh? How much longer? We're almost there. Oh my god. She's dead? Her whole... It's gone. No, wait. Could have survived that. Sick. They've killed a 6-year-old. An ambulance. And SWAT. Freeze! Jesus. The faces. I said freeze!